Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ned Hills of southern Indiana. Got the old hydroponic set up outside, hanging out with the scrap yard back here. But got it filled up. Tank turned out real good. I'll open that up in a second, let you guys see inside there, and putting some plants in it. So we're gonna go through that real quick and see how this all gets put together. So here's the tank. I just got a, I think I showed you guys that before, tub from Home Depot. I got the return, if you will, coming back in here, kind of pointed off to the side. Hopefully that'll agitate the water just a little bit, and you'll get some aeration also when it drops down. Not much, but a little bit. We got the pump in there. Put the pump up on a brick because you're going to get sediment and stuff like that just naturally. So instead of sucking that stuff up into the pump, hopefully it'll settle on the bottom of the tub, and we can miss out on that. I cut a hole in the side here where the hoses and the electric wire come out, and then that way I can put the lid back on and keep a little bit of shade on the water itself, and keep stuff from blowing in there, leaves and whatever else. I put these little bricks on here. Hopefully it'll keep the lid from blowing away when we have a storm or something like that. We'll see how that works out. But that's that part. I'm going to show you guys what I do to get these plants ready to go into the tubs over here, the buckets. Was in a little bit of a hurry last night, racing the old sundown. But what I ended up doing as far as media in here is, this is just perlite on top. But what I did do, because my brother was telling me how his buckets were always falling over and it was hard to keep these anchored in the bottom of the bucket, put these stakes in here so I can tie the plants to them as they grow, because the root systems, they don't have a lot to grab onto, so they're kind of flimsy in this stuff, according to what he was telling me. So I put rock, just gravel like this, same stuff right here. Had a pile of it, rinsed it out, got all the mud out of it and the lime, and I'd fill them up probably about that high with rock in the bottom, just to give them a little bit of weight on the bottom. And this perlite's pretty expensive. I think I paid $38 for the bag of it. So one bag ended up filling up the remainder of the buckets on here, and I've got just a little bit left over in case I need to add some later. But that worked out pretty good so far, and they got a little anchor on the bottom. Eventually, I'll put a frame up, tie them off on the top. I just haven't gotten that far yet. To give them a little more sturdiness as these plants grow. This is what I've been doing to put the plants into the perlite. I actually saw this, you Jeep guys will know him, Metal Shaper. Has a little video on his tomatoes, and he had a little PVC tube in his rock bucket, and he was saying how he used that to make a hole and plant the plants in the media. I think he used like a river rock or something like that. But what I've been doing, you can actually feel the moisture. I had this running last night. Dig down in here a little bit, about right there. You can feel the moisture still in it. It's been sitting almost a full day. Just scooping that stuff out of the way. I'm pushing this down in here. Pay attention to what I'm doing here. And then just kind of scooping it out of there. Get it deep enough to where the roots on the tomatoes that I'm going to put in here will go down and stretch out a little bit instead of being all in one big clump. So let's go get that tomato plant ready. So what I've been doing is just take them out of this here, put it in a box, very, very gently just kind of rolling it around. Don't want to pull on it at all. Those little roots, you want as many of those to stay intact as possible. So at least that's what I'm seeing on the old interwebs. It's a great big old experiment out here, to be honest with you. We're going to see how this works out this year. I'll put a video up later, rain or shine, good or bad, and we'll learn together. How about that? Anyway, so got as much off of there as possible. Right, looks fairly clean. It's not going to be perfect. Put it in the water here to get the rest of the loose stuff off. Shake it around gently. And that's kind of what you end up with. There is some like chunks in there. It looks like mulch, pieces of wood or moss or whatever they used where I bought them from. But then we stick the plant into the perlite. I'm going to try to do this one-handed, so at any rate, what I've been doing is kind of setting them in here. I'll lean this up on here a little bit. And you see how it stretches the roots out a little bit more. Or if I just laid it in there, dug a hole and laid it in there, it might clump up, not really stretch those roots out. So I'm going to lay them over to the side. Put a little bit in there. Just straighten them up some here. It's a lot easier with two hands, but hey, we'll do what we got to here. All right, we'll straighten them up some. There we go. Starting to stand up. A little more in there. Squish him down a little. And just pull this tube out right over the plant. There we go. Got them in there. The roots are kind of spread out a little bit more than they might be if I just tried to dig that hole and shove it in there. Worked out pretty good. This is just a 2-liter center of a Sprite bottle. Cut it out with the scissors. Works pretty good. I came inside and set up this timer. Just like $11–12 deal that I got at Home Depot. The kit actually came with one, but I had this one already out and set up for having a light on the chickens. Well, I took that off a while back, so I guess in the summer I'll use it for this and keep the other one for a standby. From what I'm reading, they said to put water on them, depending on what media you're using, anywhere from 3 to 5 times a day. No more than 10 or 15 minutes. This one's got 15-minute increments in it, or on it, right here. So I went ahead and set it at 7. That's a little bit after sunup. But the side of the building here, where I have them, see them out here, they're gonna have shade probably till about 9 o'clock. So I went ahead and we'll water them at 7, we'll hit them at noon, 4 p.m., and about 8 p.m. The sun's gonna be on them pretty hard in the afternoon. So we'll give them a little dash of water right before dark as well. So that's the timer. I've got to set this bad boy up to be around 5:15. A little arrow there. Good to go. And while we're in here, this is the perlite that we used. Big old bag. And again, I think that was like $38 for the whole bag of it. It's kind of expensive. I think next year I'll probably move over to the river rock or whatever. Just buy it one time and be done with it, which will I don't know, you end up running more water through them with the river rock or whatever, but we'll just see how it goes. All right, we'll go outside and make sure that water is running in the right places. I've got the water running on them now. So I'm just walking around, make sure these things are flowing water in the general direction of the roots right there. Make sure we don't have any issues. I think I pointed it out before, but I drilled some holes in here in this bucket and cut this webbing. This webbing is supposed to keep the dirt and the junk out of your water system, so it doesn't mess up the pump, I guess, and clog up the water lines. But yeah, I think we're all set for now. I'm gonna have to do something with these peppers. I put 2 of them in here because, well, just experimenting really. I think I'm gonna need to get this water directed over here a little more. I'm kind of short on the tube. I'll figure something out. Get a little bit of that water moved over here. This one I thought ahead on. Planted them where the water tube could come right in the middle. But all in all, I think we're good to go. We got some eggplant here from this fella. Some jalapeno, I think it is. Yep, jalapenos for, again, we're going to try to do salsa mostly with this stuff. Hopefully we'll get enough tomatoes and jalapenos and peppers out of the deal. Be good to go. Like I said earlier, we're going to learn together, because I have never done this before. Seems interesting. We'll keep you posted.